What is going on, YouTubeverse? John Stanek from Johnny Radio here, bringing you another Viva La Vinyl classic album review. And it doesn't get more classic than this, folks. 1958's masterpiece by John Coltrane, Blue Train. Look at this thing. Let's just reflect on how cool this album cover is for a moment. I mean, Coltrane is just the essence of cool, even more so than Miles Davis. In my book, I think Coltrane was the coolest jazz artist of all time and definitely the best saxophonist in jazz ever. And, just recently, some material from this era resurfaced and came out, and it's great. But to me, nothing touches this. I mean, even a lot of people would argue that A Love Supreme from 1965 was his best work. It is certainly a masterwork, and it's growing on me in certain ways. And then a year after this, in 1959, Giant Steps was, for lack of a better term, a giant step because he was stretching the boundaries of what he could do as an artist on the saxophone. Just incredible. But for me, Blue Train is my favorite Coltrane record because it has that essence, that vibe of cool. And part of that has to do with the fact that he was a little bit boxed in with the hard bop style of the times. And, you could tell that he was certainly stretching the boundary a little bit with what he could do on his instrument. But, everybody on this record is a star player. I mean, you got Paul Chambers on bass, who went on to play a year later along with Coltrane on Miles Davis's Kind of Blue, which is kind of the blueprint, if you will, of just, in my opinion, the greatest jazz album of all time. This would be a close second. Then you got Kenny Drew on piano, Philly Joe Jones on drums, Curtis Fuller on trombone, and this young guy that was kind of an unknown at the time, Lee Morgan on trumpet, who went on to do some amazing things in his own right, the Sidewinder, as they call him. I love that nickname, and he made an album named that, which is fantastic. But this record, just from the opening notes with that da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, it just sounds so like serious and formal and cool and just awesome, and it makes you feel like you want to put on a three-piece suit and maybe even a hat and some shiny shoes and be in a nightclub back in the 50s. I can only imagine what it was like back then. I was born in the late 70s, but being back in this time when this came out must have just been the best. And that opening song, Blue Train, is just incredible, note for note, what everyone does on here. I love that it's confined to those restrictions of that hard bop jazz kind of cool style. But everybody, Lee Morgan especially, along with Coltrane, just really give it their all on their instrument. So incredible. Then you go into Moment's Notice, and then you can just picture this nightclub swinging, couples swinging their partner around. I just love that. It's like jazz is such an important piece of American history, of all music history, and like it's so well said in La La Land by Ryan Gosling, unfortunately it is dying, and we have to preserve it and keep it alive because it's just so pure. That, along with the blues, is kind of the blueprint of all music that came after it, and just incredible. Locomotion, Lazy Bird, these are all original pieces by Coltrane himself, aside from I'm Old Fashioned, which perfectly, I love the name of that song, and because I too am old fashioned, and I've always kind of been drawn to the era before me, which in many of my early years has been late 60s, early 70s, has always been my favorite era. But now that I'm getting into jazz, and I'm kind of new to the genre in general, I'm just loving it. I'm loving the purity of it. I'm loving the expression of it. The fact that it always sounds different every time. And, being instrumental, you just have, as a musician, the ability to just go loose and wherever you want to go. And Coltrane certainly was one of the best. And even on that slow, moody track that he didn't write, I'm Old Fashioned, he's able to express himself through that instrument, the saxophone, which is just one of the coolest instruments, let's be honest. I mean, I went into, in 5th grade, I learned to play clarinet with the hopes that I would move up to saxophone. They told me that I was literally too small to play the saxophone, so I had to start on clarinet. So I was like, okay, well, I'll move up to saxophone. Never did, and eventually quit and started playing guitar instead. But saxophone is just the coolest, and Coltrane is the coolest, and Blue Train is the coolest. So if you don't know this record and you're new to jazz in general, this is a great place to start. I mean, it's perfect in that it's something that you can listen to on headphones, just intently listening to note for note how perfect it is, but then also it's wonderful to have on in the background if you're cooking or having people over, or if you're having a dance party, whatever. I mean, this is just such an awesome jazz record. As I said earlier, this would just be a close second to me under Miles Davis's Kind of Blue, which is just like perfection. But Kind of Blue, so for that reason, if I was having to give this a grade, I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. It is just a masterpiece. And yeah, what else can you say? So guys, let me know in the comments what you think of this record. How has Coltrane changed your life? For me, I'm just continuing to explore his catalog, and he just never ceases to amaze me, even after being gone all these years, and new material is surfacing as we speak. Incredible artist, and a shame that he is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Come on, guys, get it together. So, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching. Top 10s every Tuesday, album reviews, Viva La Vinyl, Heart of an Artist podcast, so much more. Thank you for watching, and as always, Viva La Vinyl. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please like, and if you want to subscribe, click the Johnny Radio icon to the right, and also some of my other related content. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.